Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting Propagandacast. I'm your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda Hero Strike, Defender of the Fatherland, off here to an exciting 1 vs 1 on Faymonville Approach. Between the rest, we got here Sapphire, fighting for the Soviet Union, socialism, taking on the role here of the 3rd Guards Mechanized Corps, versus in the east, we got here ApathyPrime, fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland, taking on the role here of the 3rd Panzer Division. Noting by both players are roughly around rank 100. Also, a big thanks to Tikaboo for donating and supporting the Propagandacast. Most appreciated, Tikaboo. You are what allows me to keep doing this day after day. And if anyone else wants to, see me keep doing this, including also, Propagandacast layers, do feel free to donate. Links in the video description. Those things help me out a ton, by the way, as they do help for paying for food and rent, since, otherwise I'd have to get a job, which would make a lot of this, a lot less practical, since it is actually surprisingly time-consuming finding episodes and, making layers and whatnot. So just a heads up there. Anyways, big thanks to him. We got an MD42 Grenadiers out here for ApathyPrime with doubling these into penal troops for Sapphire. Pretty standard stuff there. Panzer Grenadier, Panzer fast bulletins for ApathyPrime, and Dishka, S6 and IS-2 bulletins. Now that's where things slightly more interesting. We got shock rifle, Lend-lease, and got motors, sort of a mix of less common doctrines with lightning war, elite troops, and mobile defense. More sort of common selection there for ApathyPrime, with the 2nd Grenadiers got to support his men as he pushes for the centre, but at the same time makes effort towards the north. That way, hoping to gain control here with an MD42, they can generally sort of cause quite a bit of havoc for opponent and also threaten the southern fuel point rather easily. So that works out nicely there for ApathyPrime. Got Pims engaging the Grenadiers there. MD42 switching on there, got quickly suppressing, push against team there. Allowing the Grenadiers to close in there, go forcing away Sapphire's forces with the 2nd penal troops got on the way there. 2nd Grenadiers got hitting southward, so almost looks like this is just bait, a decoy, whereas his main effort is actually here towards getting the point here, but basically ensures his opponent has to waste some time around here and ensures he does get some fuel until he can hit here. And if, who knows, it might be Sapphire's plan and vice versa. The penal troops got there halfway done, securing the point there. In the south, you got point there secured as well. 3rd Grenadiers got there for ApathyPrime and the 3rd Panzer Division. Those are the 3rd Guards Mechanized Corps. 2nd penal troops got there almost done, giving Sapphire more potency, more firepower, with which to deal with the fascists. Well, ApathyPrime's Grenadiers still sort of lugging about in the dirt and the mud. Moving about, securing territory. 3rd Grenadiers got on the way there, halfway done with the fuel point. The Grenadiers looks like to counter-attack, at least to the delay there. Again, he's not really fighting hard for this, so at most this is probably just a stalling operation just to buy time and to deny it for a bit longer here. But that's not going to work out. He's already too far ahead with grabbing the point, so at most he might be able to get some damage in the Grenadiers, but overall this is not achieving much for ApathyPrime. In the south there, Grenadiers just continues to secure all he's got there. He could shift the machine gun about this since he knows the most is up there, so the machine gun is essentially for the time being doing absolutely nothing here. Of course, he might be worried, his opponent might sneak in something and grab it ahead of him, but I do feel like ApathyPrime's machine gun could be doing a lot more up in the north rather than here. We'll have to see what it ends up with. We got take up there for ApathyPrime, so 3 Grenadiers, MD42 into attack. People rushing up into the Pioneers. The Grenadiers are a bit more risky here for Sapphire. The Pioneers up close can do a surprisingly large amount of damage, which people would actually tend to underestimate. In this case, along that side, the Grenadiers, they do overwhelm the penal troopers. It's a nice move there by ApathyPrime, less nice by Sapphire. But meanwhile, just continuing up here, overall good sort of capping order there by ApathyPrime. But there you go, people will move and catching the Grenadiers out in the open. Negative cover, increasing of course damage done, overall just making them easier to kill. And ApathyPrime, not too apathetic about the welfare of his men, quickly falls back. Take up done, just need to build it. 3 penal troops squads here for Sapphire. And the 3rd Guards Mechanized Corps.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Like the Mechanized Company going up there and hitting the fuel point aggressively for the motherland. Alright, Petro, when they come, just pull the trigger while aiming the rifle at them, not away from them. 4th penal trooper squad there on the way. Grenadiers flanking in there, putting a bit more pressure on Sapphire, but he does nonetheless manage to cut off the fuel, hitting the victory point here in the centre. He could go for the cutoff point as an idea there. And before turning right there, too late here for the engineers to sort of do anything, and they're going to get... Oh, and then before it takes a few seconds to set up. Occasionally happens. Occasionally hammers. There you go. Flame Force should be able to punch the MD42 within a heavy cover. That's going to probably force him to fall back with it. He should not linger here. That's a big tactical mistake there by ApathyPrime. Very big. Even though he's going to have a small chance of wiping, he's more likely to lose his MD42 there to Sapphire. So that was a really big mistake there by ApathyPrime. Quite costly. And they're going MD42 to the Soviets, which generally always hurts, and of course they got reinforced it to 6-man. In this case, 6 penal troopers, meaning that's going to be an MD42 with a lot of punch, a lot of bites. This is a rather rough development for ApathyPrime. He just hit retreat on the MD42 and he sought flank, but ApathyPrime, for whatever reason, decided to try and push his luck a bit further than it could actually bear, which is rather unfortunate for him, but of course rather fortunate for Sapphire. Going for a half-track there, that is most likely going to be a flame for a half-track. There we go, to deal with the Russians that we try and push back. Hurt the Russian troops, deal with any unit inside buildings, of course also help those of the MD42. So that of course is a very simple choice here. Pioneers going to do something with the penal troop. In this case, there's just too many Russian troops streaming in, and the Germans lack support weapons. Again, the MD42, anything else would really keep them at the front line. Half-track arrives, but without the flame first, that is also going to have a limited impact there versus Sapphire for the time being. So right there, Sapphire, in the wake of the loss of the MD42, pours through like water through a broken dam, threatening to flood Germany with socialism. And there you go, got the penal troop MD42 there, lagging ahead. Back here, troops in reinforcing. Got a Panzer Grenadier squad there that should help send of the penal troopers. You should probably also consider a replacement MD42 down the road. Meanwhile, here we got the flame projectors up for the flame for a half-track, burning away at the Russian troops, scorching them somewhat. Needs to be careful, of course. Lucky he was able to get away in time, otherwise he might have risked, half-track there being an easy target and maybe even destroyed. That would certainly been a big setback there for ApathyPrime. If they can keep it alive, of course, for some time, they can certainly do a lot of damage to Sapphire and possibly force Sapphire into making some few mistakes, as it puts on a lot of pressure on him and causes some psychological pressure. We got medics on the way there for Sapphire. They keep grabbing points. Pioneers moving about as well. Flampanzerwagen setting out there for ApathyPrime. And scorching the engineers there horribly, enveloping them in fire. Yeah, our flame for Flamming the Earth is bigger than yours. We also have more, yeah. You puny Russians. Panzer Grenadiers standing about there with the Sturmgewehr. Grenadiers also in support. We got the MD42 that's going to make it very difficult for ApathyPrime to push ahead, though of course the flame for half that's going to help flanking that. Sapphire there yet to take up, though he should probably consider something fast versus the flame for a half track, unless of course he fancies his men grilled. There you go, flame for half track has further impact there on Sapphire's forces. A lot of back and forth and map control regarding the fuel points. Another player committing too much on one point or other. Very good there. Sort of fluid tactical grasp of the map. Very good to see. Very good to see. No Stalingrad syndromes. These two Grenadiers here. We got anti-tank revs up for Sapphire. Interesting choice here. So he should really consider take up fast. A quick S-6M or T-70 could, I think, have quite helpful impact there versus ApathyPrime. Penalties there versus the Pioneers, forcing them back rapidly. But straight into the flame for a half-track obviously does not have beneficial results for the penal troopers. And the flame for half-track getting actually 11 kills for the fatherland. Points there secured, point there secured. Back here, reinforcement healing going on. Pack 40 setting out. Healing reinforcement there. Otherwise, not a lot going on here as both players sort of seizing each other up. Grabbing points wherever they can. Grenadiers advancing there for the German army. So, Ludwig, how's Silvester? How do you think Silvester is? We've got Russians all around shooting at us. I've got better things to do than look out for Silvester. I've got to look out for Ivan, or he'll shoot me right between the eyes, like he did with Jürgen. We got tech there finally going on for Sapphire and the 3rd Guards Mechanized Corps. the title guard bar was something that was given to a division usually if it performed well in battle, and usually meant, you know, again, it had just performed well. Usually, lastly, you know, giving it access to sort of better replacements and sort of equipment, depending though. The sources, though, they might not actually gotten much better equipment, but generally, though, they seem to have been to an extent better equipped. For example, you know, the Guards Mechanized Corps were usually just, you know, given M4C Shermans to replace the T-35s. Which, of course, also indicated the Russians think highly of the Sherman. Otherwise, I don't think they would have taken out the T-35s from their elite divisions in favour of American tanks. But we've got people that are being pushed back here by the Panzer Grenadier. Grenadiers being suppressed here by the MD-42. We've got mortar fire here, the ApathyPrime, a bit of Granatenwerfer fire. T-10 on the way there for Sapphire and the 3rd Guards Mechanized Corps. We got the penal troops setting up there. Panzer Grenadiers out in the open. You could have smoked the machine gun, for example, just rushed it, but decides not to. We got penal troops attacking across negative cover into Panzer Grenadiers in heavy cover. Definitely not the best move. Then we got penal troops here being burned by the flame for half tech. It is proving to be quite a good investment here for ApathyPrime, since Sapphire was not able to sort of, you know, counter it hard fast enough. And his tech was certainly a bit on the slower side. But we got the T-10 light tank out here for Sapphire. He's also got quite a few munitions. Could have laid down some mines in there versus ApathyPrime. Has now managed to bounce back quite nicely from the loss of the MD-42. Though, of course, that can all quickly change if he's not careful. Quick hit from the Pack-4 in the T-70. Certainly putting a bit of a dent there in Sapphire's restoration of the Soviet Union plan for the time being. In the email here, ApathyPrime on the back of his flame for half-tech's Herculean efforts. Push ahead there for tech. He's also going for an MD-42 to help contain some all of Sapphire's troops, since he still has 4 penal troop squads. And of course, the T-70, there's always the potential for some Marxist shenanigans. Overall, though, Sapphire probably should consider a different path of attack rather than trying to take the centre. He should either focus here or around here. That way, trying to sort of outmaneuver ApathyPrime. Then, once he's caused a bit of chaos and confusion, then he strikes, say, with the T-70 from an unexpected angle, doing a lot of damage. But seems like Sapphire is now actually is catching up on the Stalingrad syndrome, and is resorting some. Oh, clown shoes! That was about to get very ugly there. That's just a big old penal trooper blob. He's getting very bold there without the MD-42, but it's also causing him to make some, shall we say, not necessarily tactically very sound decision. I mean, had that bun grenade gone off right in the midst of his blob, that would have been GG. And there would have been no mistake about that. That would have been very much deeply GG, terminally so. That would be no way to bounce back from losing at least 2 penal trooper squads, or even more from that. So he got rather, you know, a bit fortunate there. Things didn't quite turn exactly as they did. Meanwhile, though, he has pushed back here Sapphire, or ApathyPrime, despite everything. He is now moving up secure as much as he can. He should lay down some mines, though. He should also consider a doctrine to support himself with. I mean, if he's going to go for Lend-lease, he might as well call in the Disc now, and, you know, that way get out some faster efforts with it. You could also call in the half-track, go for some mobile tactics, support his troops to the front line. That would not be a bad choice either for Sapphire. Otherwise, guard motor, heavy mortar, guardsmen to that way counter his opponent's mortar, but also just put more pressure on ApathyPrime. Could also be a really good idea. Plus, of course, more anti-tank rifles, but with DP light machine guns. Overall, I do just think Sapphire needs to sort of get around to choosing a doctrine as fast as possible here, because most of the doctrines he does have, by the way, benefit the most from actually being chosen early on, so can that way just fit them into a strategy much faster, and thus get them much better integrated. So far, does not seem to be going for that. ApathyPrime neither. A lot of his doctrines also, you know, you generally get the most of them, sort of, you know, get them into a strategy earlier on rather than just later, just for calling in a tank. So we'll have to see what it ends up here between ApathyPrime and Sapphire. We got Panzer Grenadier here spearheading the assault. North, penal troops versus Grenadiers. Grenadiers slightly bleeding out. Charging forwards for the motherland. And Panzer Grenadier here, realising that they're a bit of a sticky situation, have to fall back. Meanwhile, though, ApathyPrime back in space, building up the Spalmer core. Should be able to get out Panzer 4 as soon as it's done. In the meanwhile, for Sapphire, not much further happening there. Still a lack of a few things. And the Flampanzerwagen here, Veteran 3, 16 kills, 16 men. Burned to a cinder. Panzer on the way there for ApathyPrime. The Panzer Kampfwagen 4. Troop ceiling reinforcing. Grabbing points there. And securing points up north. Got the MD4 watching around the centre victory point and the CoH point. That way fending off any Russian attacks through the centre. Panzer 4 though, slowly approaching down. And there you go. It is ultimate Lend-lease. None of us were truly surprised. The only surprise it really is he didn't go for it sooner and you bring up the disco sooner or begin dropping Allied supply drops sooner. And the Allies certainly provide the rations with a lot of stuff. Fuel, aluminum, shoes, trucks, trains, food. A lot of things really which tend not to get mentioned too much. And a lot of them critical to the Soviet war effort. Since while the Soviet industry could produce a lot of tanks, it was actually surprisingly less efficient at a lot of other things. Amongst other things. That and, well, most of this aluminum for the T-34's aluminum engine came from the Ukraine, which the Germans occupied. We got Pumes there charging ahead here, Panzer 4 falling back. Pinbot machine on the way there, doing some damage. Rather brazen lobbies assault there by Sapphire, but it does successfully push back here, ApathyPrime. There were some casualties. He's clearly setting up, he just began hauling in M4C Shermans. He could still, drop in there, could lay down mines, a lot of things we could be doing here, and calling a disco, calling a half track. He's calling in an S-26M in the meanwhile to help deal with the Panzer 4 because his anti-tank rifle is obviously not quite cutting it. The South here T-7 going straight for the Grenadiers, 45mm gun and the coax machine gun tearing into the Grenadiers. Those unfortunate bastards out in the open. Meanwhile, Panzer 4 moving up here, MD42 coming from the ditch. And then he's pulling up the flamethrowers ready to scorch some fascists. H-16M almost done. The South here, T-7 falling back, bombarding Panzer Grenadier here with its 45mm gun. Small high explosive rounds launched moment after moment at the Germans. Mortify into the Russian occupied ditch. Pioneers moving ahead with their mines just in case Sapphire has been doing their mines. So that is one thing Sapphire has not been doing, and I do feel like that is a bit of a mistake. There's certainly something he could benefit from a lot, or made it a lot harder for ApathyPrime to about a time. But there you go, veteran and the penal troopers. Look at this! We are slightly closer to, no longer being penal troopers. Really? Maybe. Half-track range to the H-16M. Good hit there from its 76.2mm gun. You might want to get closer and get off a satchel charge before it's too late, but looks like Sapphire there wasn't quite paying attention. And his men are paying the price. He could move down the assault and begin bombarding. Looks like that is in fact his decision. First shot flies way too far. Second shot though has a better impact on the house. And then before two supposed they're going to do around the centre. Second shot, or third shot, much bigger impact as well. You can see there, ApathyPrime ultimately abandons the house. He evacuates it. It is no longer fit for socialist occupation. Pumes are moving ahead, engaging the Pack 40 out in the open. Bit risky there. The Panzer 4 on the flame for after providing rather excellent covering fire. And there you go, first M4C Sherman out here for Sapphire. And the 3rd Guards Mechanized Corps assault gun, then getting the Panzer 4 head on. Pension hit from the Panzer 4, of course, puts the assault gun in a bit of a situation. And there you go, Pack 40 lands an excellent hit on the assault gun, almost taken out. And we got the M4C Sherman rolling ahead. Pintle mounted 50 caliber machine gun being added as well. To further deliver punishing harm onto the Germans. Point there secured. The south here we got the T-7 pushing back the Grenadiers. You could consider some fuel drops again. Mines. Overall though, Sapphire splitting munitions here a bit too consistently for my liking, though it's not at the same time a massive munitions hump at the moment. Penal battalion to the centre, MD42 just as sets up, is forced out again. Too low on health here to really resist that kind of situation. Even if it got set up in time, it might be too low on health by the time it gets it up and then gets wiped. Penal trooper tank into double gun into the light machine guns. Got the infantry Sherman supporting though. And the 4-2 moving in as well there. And we got penal trooper down to tank rather than engaging the Panzer 4 and the Sherman. Well, not the Sherman, the half trooper. There goes Sherman moving in though. Getting the Panzer 4 here. This case, Pack 4 not quite set up there. And there you go, gun is being pushed back from the centre here. A lot of back and forth between these two players. Neither side really holding the upper hand for very long before the other one finds another way of sort of pushing them back. Or in this case, Sapphire just relying on brute force to push ApathyPrime back, whereas ApathyPrime does rely a bit on flanking and manoeuvring. T7 the halfway to T2, Panzer going to be pushed back, Stuk halfway done, troops are healing and enforcing. The Stuk on the way here for the 3rd Panzer Division. Mortifier landing on the T7, doing a bit of light damage there. Bombardment there. Stuk almost done there for ApathyPrime, and there goes Sturmgeschütz 3 Ausführung G. Early model arriving for ApathyPrime. The difference between the early and late model can partly be seen here on the gun mounted. Earlier one had a non-rounded mantle, a lot more just straightforward block, and also some change to the machine gun on top was one of the bigger differences. But you could always tell on the mantlet, which did improve the front armor there. And we got fuel drops here for Sapphire. Gun is being suppressed. And get pushed back. The MB42 in this case proving to be too much for the Germans to plough their way through. ApathyPrime here going for doctrine. Finally, it ends up being lightning roll. No big surprises there either. They are some of the more common doctrines. It's just overall in both cases. I feel like they end up going for them a bit too late. Could certainly have some bigger impact if they sort of gone for them faster. Sapphire soon off for another M4C Sherman. ApathyPrime is some time off from a Tiger tank that could pop relief infantry or tactical movement for some additional efforts. And there you go, 2nd M4C Sherman up here, arriving. And the south, we got the penals where they pushed back by superior German firepower and numbers. And the fact they're not, you know, half dead from bleeding. German tank northwards here. Outmaneuvering ApathyPrime's northern flank here, which was already pretty weak. Very good work there by Sapphire. We got the armor moving in, including a Pack 40 here. Got the 2nd Sherman moving up there, could be a bit of a strong arm. 24-2 forced away there. Need to be careful about tank head on though. You should be aware there's a lot there, but then we've got the S-6 actually shooting on the Stuk. That should actually be his priority, by the way, getting the Stuk out, since that's the one that's most potential for doing damage besides the Pack 40. This Sherman's going to have a better time just knocking that up. There you go. Needs to be careful here. No, he continues inside the base though. Bit risky here. Bit risky. Pack 40 setting up. There you go. Got the half as well. One Sherman down. Assault gun not doing anything. Support another Stuk on the way there. 4 ApathyPrime. Penal troops moving in their support with the P2S rifles. Assault gun still not moving in, but he might risk losing another Panzer 4. There we got Vecchi 2 though. Vecchi 2. Shot bounced. Assault gun still not supporting. Big mistake here, Panzer 4. Ah, almost got it. And, oh, very close save there. Very close save. Had he been able to bring in the assault gun faster here, though, things I think would have looked different. He also got the Pack 40 though. Could either satchel it or steal it. And there you go. He satchels it. Oh, get away. Ah. I told Pushkin to get away from the satchel, but no, he had to check if he had timed it correctly. Turns out he had. He's trying to catch the Panzer 4. He's willing to rush in his assault gun. Now it, you know, had he just been able to time it better with everything else, that would have gone a lot better. Instead, now he's feeding ApathyPrime here some free expense. Again, I can understand why, but he's just not able to. Oh no, the Panzer 4's getting caught here by P. Oh, so close. He really wanted that Panzer 4 dead, and he ended up, I think, sacrificing too much to actually destroy it when he actually had done so much other damage to ApathyPrime there. So had he just kept the assault gun there, I think he'd been in a much stronger position. Or had he just moved up to support these Shermans while he was at it, like that was sort of the primary issues in that engagement for Sapphire. Still, he's got a strong hand. He's still got most of the map, but now ApathyPrime does have a definite arm advantage. He does have a definite arm advantage. With the Vecchi 2 Panzer 4 and a Stuk, whereas all Sapphire has is a T-70 light tank. Though, of course, still got the penal troopers. And those are still something to be, you know, rightfully feared. We got relief infantry up here for ApathyPrime. 3rd Panzer Division's dredging up whatever it can in terms of replacements, reinforcements. Which, depending on what the situation was, could have been anything in the nearby area at times. Like, for example, troops on leave, Luftwaffe troops from, you know, different flak weapons, or even troops from the Reichsarbeitsdienst. Could have been potentially dragged in as replacements for German infantry losses. Sapphire charge there wipes out a Grenadiers squad. Bit of a loss there. We got the Ostrom squad there arriving now to support here. ApathyPrime's depleting ranks. And then got another M4C Sherman out here for Sapphire. I was about to call him M4C Sherman, but that's not really his name now, is it? Then again, it could be his real name. I mean, it could be, you know, his parents were quite the, you know, Sherman enthusiasts. We'll never truly know. We will never truly know. Got the T-7 in. They got the Sherman tank from the front here. Another Penal amount of 50 cal. Need to be a bit careful about getting too enthusiastic with them, since he does not have as much fuel as he did before. And again, he's got a lot less to sort of fill up losses with at the moment. He needs to be able to be a lot more of an armoured force there. Ooh, they need to get out of those penal troopers before the Panzer lands another hit. And the T-70 also needs to get very, very far away. Still not retreating the penal troopers. There's that Panzer IV, but the Panzer IV is actually falling back here. Entering choice Sherman there, repulsing forces in the centre. Got the penal troopers falling back, and over here, healing reinforcement going for Sapphire. With the Panzer IV unleashing hell upon the penal troopers as they finally decide they need to get elsewhere. Got a PTS they could secure with the Ostrom, but looks like they don't want to touch that. Yuck, it's Russian. I don't want to touch that. I could get Marxism or something. My uncle got Marxism. It did not end well for him. How so? He got lynched. Ah. Another Pack 40 there for ApathyPrime. MD-42 supporting the penal troopers alongside the Sherman as he hits the northern fuel pump. To the south half of the map there is more or less Germantown. More Ostrom arriving here for ApathyPrime. Filling out those gaps in the ranks. And supporting the brave boys at the front line. Panzer IV, though, close again towards Veteran Fleet. That's going to be pretty good for ApathyPrime here versus Sapphire. That's going to be pretty damn good. Just keeps flying away there. Grenadiers with light machine guns for the fuse. They're tearing apart the penal troopers. Gunning them down in cold blood. And there goes Sherman going for a flank. They got a Stu waiting. Target weak point available. Heat rounds. Heat rounds. Ah, missed, and the heat round gets caused the Sherman tank to be abandoned. Sapphire, they're clearly a bit upset about the development. Sherman lit on fire by the Germans. They did not want to recover it. That was certainly not the most relic assault there by Sapphire. Don't think he should have tried to push it. But there you go. Does get the Stugan Vengeance, but the Stuga is also notably cheaper than the M4C Sherman. So rather a loss there for Sapphire and the 3rd Guards Mechanized Corps. Got the T-70 rolling back there for repairs. Germans occupying the centre. And we got a veteran for the MB-42 covering the north here, ready to repulse any attempt by the Germans to reclaim what is, you know, whatever it actually is. There you go, Panzer bringing it straight to the veteran for the MB-42. Back here, healing enforcement going on. Sapphire needs to drop more fuel. You also still would have benefited a lot from mines. Got mortifier here from ApathyPrime. He could honestly just smoked it. But, he decided for a regular bombardment. Ostrom forced away there. As Sapphire once more tries to swing around to ApathyPrime, centre his Schwerpunkt around the central victory point. It's proving to be quite formidable there and a bit tricky for Sapphire to deal with. Now that again he's lost most of his armour. That base rush there has rather to an extent killed him, particularly again the loss of the assault gun. But again, I need to stop saying but again. But as well, I suppose I could say Yeah, again, that lack of a Echelon 6 that support the Shermans, they really, I think, sort of, you know, gave ApathyPrime a bit of an extra edge. More fuel, though, is finally being dropped in there for Sapphire. Troops charging ahead out into the open. Light machine gun fire, Panzer fire, G43s singing away as the Russians charge across the open, unforgiving territories of Faymonville. Panzer 4 there, basically using the Russians as gunnery practice. Yeah, I think the sights are a bit off. Otto, you need to adjust a bit further to the left. Ah, there we go. Much better. Much better. He blew up properly this time around. The last Russian we shot actually had some of his legs left. So they're going Ace Panzer 4. Always a threat there for any player. And certainly also a nice piece of medium armor. And of course, with the Panzer 4, the trick is getting it there in the first place. But we can get it to you eventually feed the Panzer 4. It's generally a very, very solid medium tank. So difficult for your opponent to deal with. Up here, grabbing territory, the Ostrom are giving ApathyPrime here the ability to just push the field much more aggressively versus Sapphire. Panzer fast on the T-70, another infantry shown finally around there for Sapphire and their 3rd Guards Mechanized Corps. And we got another stoop there for ApathyPrime. Penal troops charging forwards into machine gun fire here. E-33 fight, got the Pack 40 in here as well. Well, Sapphire rushes straight to where all of ApathyPrime's anti-tank guns are sighted, or would he actually try and go for a slightly finickier flank and maybe do some extra damage that way without necessarily exposing this German to, you know, all the guns of Germany in this particular sector.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Penal then engaging the Ostrom out in the open. And go forced away. Sherman joining in as well. And this hold here, but then before defending the southern field point. Got the 8th Panzer 4 moving in there. Oberleutnant Franz Schubert moving in. Going there for the machine gun crew. Successfully pushing away the dog without getting many kills, but still having an impact there against Sapphire. That Ace Panzer 4 might as well be a Tiger tank. For all the harm it can do to Sapphire. But generally one of the most German things in the German army was generally the Panzer was just an experienced tank crew, since they usually had a lot of tricks up their sleeve, and generally also sort of just were much better at reacting. And sort of a fun thing in a lot of tank engagement, basically in many cases came down to just who saw the other bastard first and shot them first. That could in many cases actually determine an engagement and how it turned out. That's a fun fact there. Oh dear, out in the open as the T-70, the MD-42, the Ostrom will not last long. Ultimately, no engineers for Sapphire, so... And he's also got no conscripts. He actually has no way of repairing that T-70. Sapphire's going to need engineers, though. That is actually a bit of a lacking there. ApathyPrime might actually here be setting up for a Tiger. Considering the old situation, it's not a bad idea to try it. It certainly is not a bad idea. He could go for fuel cache to support it, but overall I don't think it's going to be, you know, hugely punished for him. He's got the Ace Panzer 4 Stoops and her tank guns, a nice mix of infantry, and his opponent's be on the back foot. So a Tiger tank here could be utilised to solidify any lead he's got with Sapphire and just, you know, break any Shermans that might appear. G43 versus SVT-40s. Fun fact, the G43 was based off the SVT-40 semi-automatic rifle. Since they couldn't figure out how to make their own semi-automatic rifle, they attempted the G41. Turned out to be not very good. It was an overcomplicated mess, to put it mildly, which was not very efficient. MD-42 there being cut down here by the expert Grenadiers for the G43. Tiny chance of a wipe there. But the MD-42 managed to pull back there as the Grenadiers are suppressed. ApathyPrime in a very strong position. Closing in another Sherman there for Sapphire. Very slowly, very slowly. He's finally got some engineers out there to repair his T-70 light tank. ApathyPrime is not making any big moves. He's not one to risk it here versus Sapphire. We got veteran feet on the Panzer Grenadier. Two heroes of the Reich, hardened veterans, men who have seen many things, even things they should never have actually been expected to see. Got the Pins that are pushing ahead here. Stooks blasting away their 3 infantry kills. And go Pins round over to the Panzer 4. Stug also blasts away. Everything is blasting away those penal troopers. Everything. And there you go. Panzer 4 lands another nice hit. 29 kills in service of Das Vaterland. Endsieg. More fuel drops there for Sapphire to try and push ahead that 3rd Sherman. And we got here tactical movement the line. ApathyPrime meant to rush points and get in more aggressive. We got the Panzer 4 support here, but the Stug going for the infantry Sherman. But also find, of course, any troops supporting. And there you go. Penal troops right in front of the Stug and the Panzer 4. Machine gun fire and main gun fire blasting. And there goes Stug, lands another nice kill there. 30 kills on the Panzer Kampfwagen 4. 30 kills. Shannon here is the T-70. Got Pioneers Grenadiers standing about. Then we got a big push here from Sapphire. Could be his last big push. And ApathyPrime is very close to a Tiger tank. Not that he really needs it, but you know, I mean, if you can go for a Tiger and, you know, solidify the game completely, you know, situation, you know, just win more, it's not a bad idea. There you go. Sherman just rushes straight in front of here. I think at this point, safe to say, Sapphire seems to have given up. And there you go. Well, he made a really, really big mistake there and didn't realise it was too late. Don't worry, Petrov. They'll never anticipate us attacking where we saw their tanks last. Ever. Go Tiger tank out. Panzer 4 blasting with the 33 kills. Tiger rolls ahead. And another infantry shown ready now for Sapphire. But at this point, it's not going to matter. There we go. We got the GG there from Sapphire. GG from ApathyPrime. Tiger continues to roll ahead here. Large slap of Kupstahl. And yeah, that mid-game fight really sort of was the point there of things were determined. And again, had he just moved in the assault gun, he could have probably gotten it, and that would really just make things difficult for ApathyPrime. He might have a small chance. The problem is with the way ApathyPrime was afterwards, handling things and throwing away the assault gun. You know, he rather kept sinking himself there, and ensuring he was consistently then beyond reach of actually delivering a more critical blow to ApathyPrime. But overall, you know, good match. There's a lot of good fights, flanking, maneuvering, and all just not too much styling. Throughout the time, Sapphire did fall into it and relied rather much on blobbing and raw force. Though in the end, ApathyPrime sort of more skillful handling of things, allowed him to punish Sapphire for that. So there you go, GG, game over. A brutal fight here, and again with a lot of armour, Ace Panzer Force, Ostrup, Panzer Grenadier, and a lot of other things. So I hope you enjoyed this match. I hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe to your friends, share it with everyone. And feel free to turn and replay, though if you do, links to where you're on the leaderboards are most appreciated, links to the match, and so on. And, of course, a big thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, without which this episode would so not have been possible. So thank you all, and see you all tomorrow for another exciting episode. Bye!